Hello, my friends. Welcome to the very first episode of a Holy Mess podcast. Well, actually, this isn't a full episode. This is more of a trailer episode or a teaser episode or an appetizer episode. Of course, I brought up food in the first 20 seconds of my podcast. So this episode, it's just a short explanation of why I'm doing this podcast and the heart and the goals behind it and what you can expect here. So my name's Dani Sumner and I'm your host. So let's be real. Life can be so hard and messy, even in the best of times for most of us. Side note, if that's not you and your life is easy peasy 24/7, we love you and we bless you too. But deep down, we wonder if you're actually paying attention because the rest of us, we're struggling at times. I always joke, but I truly mean it. We all got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, not just Adam and Eve. No one, and I mean no one, gets to live there. You guys, we all know life can be so difficult and painful at times. Life can be such a mess, or components of our life can be such a mess. Whether we made that mess for ourselves, or we are living with the consequences of someone else's choices, and now we're struggling with resentment and bitterness, depression, anxiety, loss, or maybe one addiction or another. This podcast, we will talk about the real issues and acknowledge how difficult some aspects of life can be. But most importantly, and more importantly, we will also share the strategies and the tools and the tactics and the true hope only found in the presence of Jesus. And that's not some cheesy Christian platitude. I know you can live an amazing, purposeful, joy-filled life, even with the most difficult things you walk through, because I see my friends do it every single day. Our goal is not to just preach at you and tell you what you should do or what you could do to feel better, but we are going to press into the hows. Like, how do you actually find peace? How do you actually find joy? And how do you find your purpose on this planet? There will be no, and I mean no, you shoulda, coulda, woulda, shame in here. I promise to not you shoulda all over you. I've been dying to say that line. The world does not need any more places or ministries spewing Christianese or sayings like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. That's not a verse, and it's never helpful to hear. And I know plenty of people that can't handle their lives on their own. Frankly, I'm one of them. My life, it takes a village, Jesus, and a community of supporting people, guiding and loving me. Galatians 6:2 says, carry one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. You guys, sometimes just knowing that we are seen in our struggle is hope enough to live another day well. And I want this podcast to be that for you. I want you to know that you are seen and valued and important, no matter what you are carrying in your life. No matter what you are working or walking through, you are welcome here. The world needs you. The world needs your story and who he has created you to be. A few allergies you should know about me. Dairy. Milk in America is not my friend. Also, inauthentic people. I can read through people's BS in 0.2 seconds, and so can you. So I promise to keep it real. Another allergy? Politics. I'm what you call apolitical. No, I'm totally not. But this will not be a podcast talking or getting into politics. I have a few mantras I live by, and one of those is no PIP, no PIP, no politics in public. It also means no peeing in public now that I'm a sober, classy lady. I'm just not going to do it, okay? And my last and final allergy is conflict. Unless you are my husband or my kids or sometimes my mom or my brother, I run from conflict with every fiber of my being. But I certainly will spin out about it for days in my head. You can ask my therapist. I'm still clearly a work in progress, just like you. The heart of this podcast is to walk in the trenches with you. We are going to laugh and probably cry at times and find so much hope and joy and freedom as we walk through life and deal with our stuff. Every week, I'm going to show up. And from time to time, I'm going to show up with different friends and experts in trauma, addiction, grief, loss, depression, anxiety. The list goes on and on. These friends and these role models are people who I respect and love so much. They bring such hope and help to me, and I know they will encourage you as well with their stories and their life and their guidance. If you have stuff that you are wrestling through in your heart, whether it's loss and grief or shame about your past or anxiety about your future or like you are just not enough, this podcast is for you. 1 Thessalonians 2:8 says, we loved you so much, we were delighted to share not only the gospel with you, but our very lives as well. That's my hope, that by sharing my life with you and my history with addiction and failure and struggles with depression and crippling anxiety at times, I'm pretty much an open book about my life and my struggles. I'm 11 years sober this year by the grace of God. My hope is that as we dig deep and shed the shame of our struggles, we can all breathe a little easier knowing we are not alone and have fun along the way. You guys, this stuff doesn't need to be dry and boring, I promise. You are deeply loved, you are created with a purpose, and you have such value. My hope is that in every episode, you encounter the love and the grace of God a little more and leave encouraged. There's a few themes for this podcast, but one scripture that has been our driving force since we began preparing for this is Psalm 84:5. Blessed are those whose strength is in you, whose hearts are set on pilgrimage. You guys, it's a choice every day to take this pilgrimage and journey with Jesus and with ourselves. But I don't know a better way. And trust me, I've tried so many other ways. My hope is to journey with you and encourage you on your way home. I am so thankful you are here, and I am so pumped to journey with you. So take a deep breath and let this moment be for the grace of God to encounter you. Grab a tea or a coffee and let's dig in.